All right, all right, all right. We're live. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna send the tweet. Make sure I get this done right. Hold on. All right, tweet sent. What's up, everybody? Listen, I know it's a few minutes early, right? I'm giving people some time to get in here, and I am trying to verify if the guest we're having on today is logged in. So, Cody, if you're in here, just say something. Just say something in the chat part, just to let me know you're in here. And if not, listen, guys, if the person that was signed up to be on with me and Kim today isn't here by any chance, if you guys, any of you would be interested in volunteering, let us know. All right, I am going to bring in Kim. Okay, he's here. Perfect. Awesome. There's my... What's up, Kim?
How you doing, brother?
How are you?
Good. Cody just sent me a message. He's on. So
okay, perfect. Let's see if he can send a there. I see him in there.
Yep.
All right, cool.
My headset. Aloha. Somebody said.
I was gonna wear. I got a new True Trader hat, and I was gonna rock it, but it totally doesn't match the outfit I'm wearing. So.
You have to wear the aloha hat when I'm on. Come on.
Exactly.
What's the
exactly.
point?
So just give it another. It's 2:00. We can start.
Okay.
Welcome everybody to episode 3. I can't believe we're already the third one, right?
I can't either.
Method and mindset. So I would be the method, and this fine woman here is the mindset. So guys, basically, if it's your first time watching, Kim is the Wall Street coach. She is an executive coach, a trading coach, an all around, just she knows what goes on between the ears. So she provides a lot of insight and great value, especially to people in our profession, the trading world, right? So that's why she's completely invaluable. We can't thank her enough for giving her time and donating back to the community. And so it's me and her. We go 2-on-1 with a trader, and we try to coach them.
That's right.
So if it's your first time joining us, these are a lot of fun. It's we try to keep it very light and
yep.
You know.
Except when we don't.
Hey, there's some hard truths we always have to wrestle with, right?
Some hard truths. We've had a couple of moments where, there's definitely been a couple of truth bombs, I would say, out of your mouth, and maybe once in a while out of my mouth. But that's, look, we're keeping it light because this is life. Like this is life. We're all trying to figure it out as we go. This is trading. This is like challenges. Like, we can't take it all too seriously. We got to keep a sense of humor, or what's the point, right?
That actually, it reminded me of something from yesterday. I was talking to somebody. We were reminiscing about comedians because Norm Macdonald passed away. And
yes.
There was a comedian that had said, it was Joe Rogan, and he had this whole thing about, he's like, you remember when you were a kid and you thought that the adults had everything figured out? And then you grew up and you became an adult and you realize nobody has a clue what's going on. It's just like trading, right? Like,
it's so true.
When you're a new trader, you look at like traders you admire and you go, those guys have it easy. They've got it all figured out. And I'm telling you, from somebody who I'm only 8 years in. I've been profitable long enough. I feel like I can talk about this, but even if I don't necessarily think of myself as a veteran, I know veterans, and they will tell you the same thing. That never happens. You never get to this point where it's easy. You can simplify things, but that does not equate to easy.
That's a great distinction, those two words, simplify versus easy. Those are very different words, but that is really powerful. I love that.
So should we get our guest in here?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I saw Cody come in there before, so hopefully Did he put his request in yet?
He did.
All right. And then I don't have to, you said nice things about me, and let me say nice things about you, Ricky. I mean, what I love about Ricky is he keeps it real. And that is like pretty refreshing. Hey, Cody.
Hey.
How you doing, brother?
How's it going? Good. How you guys doing?
So glad you made this work. This is great to have you here. Long time no see,
Yeah.
man. Long time.
Last minute, pulled it together.
Good thing. Last minute. Where is that?
What's that?
Last minute is where it's at in my book.
Oh, yeah.
So, your name is Cody.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you, brother. I'm
nice to meet you too, man.
Ricky. This is I'm sure you've met Kim before.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a bit about yourself?
So I live in California. I've been trading for about 2 years. I've been studying for maybe about 3.5 with trading. So like 3.5 market time altogether. I'm an artist. I like to draw. I mean, that's pretty much it. I've been on my own since I was 15. I left my house early. Just kind of, I had a rough childhood and whatever. Got away from all that. And, just recently, like 5-6 years ago, got a job and started, moving in the right direction. So now I'm trying this trading thing. And my issue is really a little bit of conviction problems, but more so, I was actually meditating on it last night. And this is like a lifelong problem that I've had. It's whenever I'm close to like a goal, like a weight goal. In trading now, it's been like a money goal. First, it was like, I had a small account, so when I was at the 200 mark, I wanted to break through that 200 mark, and I got pushed back. Now I'm in red, and a few times I've been, close to break even, and same thing, like, I don't know, I lose discipline, my head gets, unfocused, I guess, and I don't know, I tend to back down. Like, even with a weight goal, recently, I wanted to get under 200. I started from 295, and I was at 208 a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, and now I'm back up to like 230. So like it's even in other aspects of my life. So I guess that's what I would like to get out of today, is some insight on that.
Is it okay to go first, Ricky?
It is, and actually, you know what I was going to tell you about that, Kim, is
yeah.
I've been going first lately, not because I was trying to or whatever, but what I've been noticing is when we coach people together, when I go first, then I hear them talk to you, and a bunch of new stuff comes in my head anyway. Okay. And I realize, I think a lot of it comes from the fact that people think they have technical problems, but it's like mindset problems masquerading as technical problems. So I was like, no, Kim's going first for sure this time. And
I'm glad.
let's get right into it.
Page. Awesome. So, Cody, one of the things that I learned from two people, T. Harv Eker talks about a temperature set, that our emotions, around money, for example, that we have a status quo number. And so he'd say, imagine your money temperature set is, 65 degrees. Then that means your internal system, as soon, and I didn't ask you if you give me permission to coach you, but I presume you do. So I'm interrupting myself. Okay, thank you. So the heart of the matter is that if your house is going to get colder or hotter than 65 degrees, the heat automatically kicks on, or the AC kicks on, right? Because the house has been set at a certain temperature. The same with us, right? So right now you're saying, wow, it shows up with your weight, it shows up with the money, it probably will show up in other departments of your life if you don't start to perhaps gauge what could be that standard set point. The other book that I'm gonna speak to, a book that might be helpful for you. It's a book called Resistance to Change. I think I have the title wrong, but the heart of that book talks about how each of us are actually hardwired to resist change in a lot of ways. that has helped us survive as a species, our resistance to change. Immunity to change is another phrase that's used in this book. We're all a little bit coming from this place of an immunity to change because that helped us survive and navigate all of these many years. So what you want to do is start to look at yourself like, oh, I am predisposed to have an immunity to change. I am predisposed to have resistance to change. What if I pause and start to get curious about what's the relationship I have to money? What are the beliefs you had growing up? What did your parents or caretakers, even before you left at 15, what were the messages? What are the messages you have now? One book that I really like is by Gary Douglas called You Are Money. I think it's called You Are Money. And you have to double check that, Benito, if you're in a position to. Yep, that's it. Resistance to Change, A Guide to Harnessing Positive Power. And there's another one there too by a woman. But anyway, I'll get that title to you, Cody. But the heart of it is, instead of making yourself wrong for having a difficult time going to those goals, start to get curious about what might be scary if you get that goal. What might make you uncomfortable if you get that goal? I'm going to take on money just for this conversation. I'll tell you one of the things that potentially happens if we start to make more money than what our preset is. If I just take myself, for example, if I make too much money, quote unquote, right, that means I might lose some friends. That might mean I don't have the same tribe of people to hang out with. That might mean I'm lonely. That might mean that I'm by myself. That might mean I get judged by some of the people that I hang out with. Who does she think she is now? She thinks she's better than us. One of the phrases that's used to describe that is called tall poppy syndrome. That's what they call it in Australia. In Hawaii, I see that a lot as well. This concept of you have to stay humble and don't get too big for your britches. So I would ask myself, okay, if I lose this weight, like what happens if you lose weight, Cody? One thing that potentially happens is you get more attention. You have more chicks check you out or guys check you out. You might get a little more of the spotlight. That might make you uncomfortable. And so that would be that is definitely an issue for me with my weight. My weight has a tendency also to stay above what I have been able to get up before, because when I got attention when I was little, it actually was not in my best interest because it took attention away from some of my caretakers and they did not like that. So I have unconsciously learned, don't get too much spotlight, because if you do, then you potentially have to deal with these other circumstances. So I said a lot. I'm going to pause there. Didn't do a lot of coaching, but let's see what your response is to what I've said.
So I guess what I got out of that is I need to find what the meaning of getting through these barriers is going to mean and why, or if I'm afraid of what is going to happen unconsciously.
I would say go right to it. It's already happened. Mm-hmm. This is what could go pear-shaped.
Right.
I'm afraid of having that much money because XYZ. I'm afraid of being my goal weight because XYZ.
That's tough, you know.
You have to step into a whole different mindset. And there's also an exercise. I'm going to tell you another book. And again, it's not that you have to read all these books, but there's a book called The Marriage of Spirit. And it's a spiritual book, but it talks about a polarities exercise. So one of the exercises that book gives you is for you to take, I'm going to draw it for you right now, and then everybody watching us can do it too. So in the top left-hand corner, you put desire to let's say, have a lot of money, or make it specific, like desire to, I don't know, make 500K. And then the fear of making 500K. And then at the bottom left-hand, the fear of, let's just say rich and poor. Let's just make it as simple as possible. So the desire to be rich, the fear of being rich, the desire to be poor. So tell me something good about being poor.
Well, you're never bored. You're always working to make ends meet.
Yep. What else happens
it's somewhere I'm comfortable, because you're faced with challenges every day and you're overcoming challenges every day. Or, if you're week to week.
Good job. Keep going. Fear of being, desire rather to be poor. What other benefits to being poor?
I guess you don't get that much recognition. You can fly under the radar.
Yep, you got it. What other benefits are there to being poor?
Not too many.
How about this one? How about
less
this
to
one?
lose. You have less
to lose. Yeah, less to lose.
That's a really good one, Ricky. How about this one? People feel bad for you.
Okay. Yeah.
You get empathy. People are like, wow, that sucks, man. Maybe you get love. Maybe you get attention.
Yeah.
Right? So these polarities, we all have them. And this concept, so this is the square I said I would show everybody, right? It's the concept of there are hidden unconscious biases towards the opposite of what we say we want. And unless we make that visible, unless we make what's unconscious conscious, they stay hidden and they're operating our vehicle behind the scenes. So by doing this kind of work, you bring forward. So you did really great with speaking to the desire to stay poor. Now tell me what the fear of being rich might be.
The fear of being rich. I guess. I mean, what would you do if you're already there?
So maybe bored.
That.
So bored,
Yeah.
possibly. Okay.
Maybe a different set of people, that a different flock, a different set of friends. Fear of being rich. More problems that you have to deal with. Maybe safety, like people trying to rob you. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
More money, more problems, right? I mean,
right? Yeah.
Think about this.
More money, more problems.
Sorry to interrupt, but I'm just like, I think about making X amount more than what I currently make. And my monkey brain immediately thinks about what kind of lifestyle changes that could equate to. When in reality, it's so much smarter, at least in my opinion, to live well below your means, right? But nobody does that. They go, oh, if I only made this much, I could have that house or that car, right? Instead of I could put away this much money and be not worried about any problems.
Right. Yeah. I can't come up with any other.
Someone said fear of crashing a Ferrari. So
yeah.
my homework to you is I want you to do this list and I want you to dig deep, because I promise you there's more there. It's uncomfortable at first to do this because you're going into a headspace of like, why would I be afraid of being rich? But the more you look, the deeper you sit with that, you'll start to have things come forward. And I would do the same for the weight. Fear, desire to be skinny, fear of being skinny, right? desire to be fat, fear of being fat, and just bring all the polarities, whatever is unconscious, to the forefront.
Yeah, definitely. I will. I'll do the homework.
Okay. So technical side of things, Ricky's going to take on, tell him a little bit about what's going on there. And you give him permission to coach you too, I take it.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So guys, as always, I'm not a licensed financial advisor. I'm not a registered broker dealer. Whatever me and Cody talk about, it's not a solicitation to buy or sell any stocks. It's just for entertainment purposes. And first and foremost, Cody, I really want to just congratulate you on going from 300 to 200, bro. That is amazing in itself. So
Thanks.
And like, I want you to also know that like, that tells me a lot about your ability to excel and succeed at things that are really hard. For you to be able to do that tells me you're going to be able to implement some of those same things into your trading that should equate to some success.
Right
So
on.
what about your trading? I heard you say that like you have trouble with conviction and patience. Is that what you were saying?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely. So with the conviction thing, that's getting easier over time as I'm trading more and seeing more setups and seeing stocks play out and stuff like that. So that's getting easier. I actually just made the decision to stop banging my head against these morning setups because I'm just not good at them. It doesn't matter, how good they can be or how good others are. I'm just not good at them. I'm better at the afternoon. I like the ABCD kind of setup where you got that spike in the morning, the pullback. That's like your line in the sand, and you got that consolidation period. And I like to get in as close to those support and VWAP levels intraday, and then I like the chart to line up as well, like on a multi-day breakout type of thing, or even if it already broke out like yesterday, maybe like ABCing through the red-green line. Like let's say an open week, spike up past the red-green, come down to green-red or whatever, and then consolidate around that. Those are the two setups that I'm really good at and that I really like.
Awesome. Well, you already are leagues ahead of a lot of other people I work with in the fact that you're able to verbalize so clearly your setup, right? And it's smart of you to at least acknowledge your weak points too, like not good at morning setups. Great. Numbers don't lie, right? You should track your statistics. If anybody listening to this that doesn't, you should. There's software out there. There's companies you can use like TraderView. There's a few others, TraderSync, Trademetria, I think. Some of them are free. Yeah, and like you can, when you see the numbers, sometimes you see things that you just didn't quite think were true about yourself. Like you might think you're great at mornings, and then like the numbers show you, or like for me, it seems like recently mine would say, "Hey, do not come to work on Mondays." But the numbers don't lie, right? So if the numbers are telling you something, don't fight them. At least not until you figure out why the numbers say what they say, right? So it might not be that you suck at morning setups. It might just be that the setup you're watching for doesn't present itself as clearly in the morning. The setup you're talking about, I'm familiar with. I love it. It's a great setup. So one of the things I want to talk to you about as far as conviction and patience is that particular setup has a specific target when it triggers. So the whole point of the setup is, a big push up and the pullback to consolidate. And then when that consolidation is broken, it should go back higher, right? Are you preferring longs or shorts?
Longs.
Okay. So the first target on that setup is high a day.
Yep.
So if you're taking profits prior to that, it's because you don't have the conviction in that setup, because that setup, when it triggers and it's valid, so it's what we call a trend continuation pattern. So stock spikes, pulls back, and starts to consolidate. If it's going to go higher, it's going to do it from there. And the only way for a stock to go higher is to make new highs. So it's logical that your first target is that prior high, because if it's going to go higher, it has to at least get there. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's like, the conviction comes from back testing those setups and seeing it happen so many times, right? And a lot of the times, so you don't have to be right very often because the risk reward on those is phenomenal. You're using like, if that consolidation gets really tight, it's a small amount of wiggle room, right? You might have 20, 30 cents of risk and a potentially 60, 70, 80 cent plus move to the upside. If that's the risk reward you're looking at, you really only got to be right maybe 1 out of every 4 trades. And but what you cannot do is take profits early, because if you're right only a quarter of the time, but when you're right, you're cutting it short. You screw up that whole expectancy, because expectancy is based off 2 things: your risk reward and your win rate. So your win rate might be 25%, and your risk reward's good enough to have a 25% win rate, but you cut it before it ever gets there. And then on the flip side of that is making sure you stop when you're wrong, right? So like, if it doesn't work, you can't fight it and try to like save the trade, as a lot of people do, right? Oh, I'll just add here, and when it bounces, I get out break even. Like, just cut the trade and move on. So the only thing I would say is there are times when you cut it before it goes to your full stop, and that is when you get that move that we're talking about, and it does that. The stuff candle I'm talking about, right? Like
that death candle,
the liquidity event that was, whatever fund was in there playing games with that stock. They use that long trigger to get longs to come in, shorts to cover, and they sell all their shares into that spike.
Right.
But the thing is that stuff shouldn't have to go all the way to your stop loss for you to know that was that stuff. And so we call those scratch trades, right? And sometimes a scratch trade is just as good as a winning trade, because it's not about, it's about more than just preserving your financial capital. It's your mental capital too, because when you go red, now your blinders on, staring at that trade. And so it becomes really important on that setup that you're talking about to look for certain signs that this is that move where they're using the liquidity to sell into it. And if they do that, you just take it off. It's usually like a break-even trade. You might even take small profit. But if it doesn't have that big stuff candle and the volume really kicks up, you're probably going high day, and then even further. And what I would love to point out to you is that go back and look at all the ones that triggered and went to high day. Most of them, what you're going to find, that sparked an even bigger move. And so like, if you're patient for that first target, you're still going to have some of your position left for the what Adriano calls the oh my God run. Like, like, take some here, and then like we're leaving some on for space, because that's where that particular setup, and there are some other characteristics that the stocks often have that make them fit that criteria a little better, such as like low floats, things that can just be moved really easily. High volume. If you see stuff that's got a ton of volume and then the volume grows even more when that triggers, those are things that really can add to the conviction. But when you start to look back at those charts, use the fact that you see the final product as a way to like transpose that upon a chart that hasn't played out yet and go, this is going to do this, or I'll be wrong, and I'm okay with being wrong. And you're going to start having that patience to at least hold for first target. And when you start locking some of those in and seeing the way that they grow an account, it's going to make holding even easier. Now, the other thing that may be causing you problems is possibly, and I don't know this unless we talk about it, but that could be incorrect position sizing. So having too much risk on for your risk appetite or your size account. Everybody thinks about like, okay, especially now I just got done telling you like where your first target is. They're going, man, I had 20,000 shares. If I had held that to that first target, I would have been retiring this year. And the thing is like, the problem is, one, if you're not used to trading that kind of size, there's no way you're going to hold it for the target, because the second it breaks out and you see green, you're going to get antsy. You're going to, oh shit, I better take it off. You need to think about the risk prior to the reward. Now, it doesn't mean you disregard the reward. The reward's important too, because it tells you, is it worth your time? Like, if you know that the setup you're trading isn't right very often, then it needs to have a good risk reward, right?
Right.
So if you look at something and no matter how bad it looks really, really juicy, you're like, oh, but the first target is pretty much like 1-to-1 where my risk and reward is. And you know that you got only a 25% chance of this working. Now, everyone listening to this, please understand, I do not know off the top of my head that that setup has a 25% win rate. We're using numbers as a guide. People are like, Ricky, that setup works way more than that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, yeah, just for numbers' sakes, right? Because if you do know the win rate of a certain setup, it helps you know what kind of risk reward you must demand of that setup to make it justifiable to take. Doesn't mean that like that trade won't work, but it just means that if you continuously play that game over and over and over, that you're not being the casino, you're being the gambler.
Right. Makes sense. Yeah, just this month I want to risk just a set level every time. $15. That's my level right now. Max daily is at 40, but I would like to be at 30 or under or less.
Gotcha.
So per trade, what I've been doing actually is because I have to trade at work. I got my brokerage set up. As soon as I put on the trade, I have little OCO orders ready to go. So if I'm risking 50 cents, 25, $1, whatever, it's already set up to have 2 to 3 risks to reward, and I can just just let it work and not have to watch it. So that's been huge. Like last month was my biggest, reddest, ugliest month. This month, just from making those changes, it's already night and day.
Good.
Well done.
It's
Well
amazing.
done.
One thing you're going to learn in trading is that like sometimes the smallest tweaks make the biggest difference. So one thing that I just thought of because of what you were just saying is that if you're trading at work, you may look into swing trading as a viable option because the exact same setup you're talking about, you're looking at what, a 1 minute, a 5 minute, what time frame?
5 minutes.
5 minute. You can
5 minutes, yeah.
You can pretend that a daily chart is a 5-minute chart. It's no different. You'll see the setup. And maybe you won't see them as often because like you gotta like stock charts as they set up and they don't set up every single day. But when you see them, you can put them on and your risk is way wider because you'll take less size, but you're using a daily chart. And so your levels are going to be further away and you're giving yourself that breathing room to not stare at your phone or your computer screen while you're at work, or it won't even be something in the back of your head. You'll be like, it's $15, whatever. But if it works, I'm telling you, those swing trades, when they go, they go. And because you're looking at a higher time frame, a lot of times like you can risk, and I know people might be like $15 is small risk, but I'm telling you, if you're aiming for 2-to-1, 3-to-1, and you're trying to grow your account, you would be surprised at how many of those swing trades end up being 10-to-1, 20-to-1. And then what? Wow. Now all of a sudden you're making $100, $200 on a trade, and you didn't even have to like no stress at all. You were able to be at work, and you didn't have to sit there and like watch the level 2 and like, oh my God, is there a hidden seller?
Right.
I can't tell you, like, the games that are played intraday versus what you see on a daily chart are night and day. And so you're already kind of like putting yourself at a disadvantage by trying to hang out with the day trade crowd while you're at work, right? And it's like,
yeah.
The sad truth is that people like have this like negative image of swing trading and position trading because day trading is marketed as like sexy and fast and Lambos and stacks of money. And I'm telling you, I know guys that make money that would change your life, and they don't stare at a screen all day. They swing trade, they position trade, and they all started somewhere. So like, don't think that you can't grow an account. In the beginning, the most important thing isn't even really exponential growth, it's exponential learning. So once you learn, your account will slowly grow. But guess what? The magic of compounding. You might have a small account now, but if you are consistent and consistently growing, that means you're consistently able to risk more and more. Because risk, like, so right now you want to risk $15. Well, if your account grows to like 5,000, 10,000, whatever number you want to get to, you can start to consider things like risking a percent of your account on any A+ setup. So 1 to 2 to 3% of your account. So if you have a $5,000 account, somebody was talking about this the other day, like, 3% of a 5K account is $150 you can risk. And you can be wrong quite a few times before you ever have to worry about like all your money disappearing. And I mean, you'd actually have to try to be wrong that often.
Right.
Which is that's a great thing, right? You want to put yourself in a position where you know that you're going to be right at least a certain amount of times and you don't have to sweat the losses.
Awesome.
I don't remember if it was on Method and Mindset or if it was somebody else I was talking to, but I remember recently having that conversation where they're trying to make an argument for a high win rate system. Like, I'd rather trade 1-to-1 and be right 90% of the time. And the problem with being right 90% of the time is, so how do you identify that 1 time out of 10 you're going to be wrong? It's much harder, and you'll fight it. And what happens is you turn a trade that should have been a quick, easy loss into a big loss because you fought it because you didn't want to admit this is that 10%.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I want to just correct is the title to the book that I was talking about before, Benito. It's called Immunity to Change. So that it's Lisa Lahey, Lahey. So the book I was recommending to you, Cody, was called Immunity to Change, just to clarify. And for those who are in the room, be sure you go to methodandmindset.com, where Ricky and I have a page that you guys can sign up for 7 hours of free, completely free content of his wisdom and a lot of webinars and mine. Is it 7 hours, right? Over 7 hours between the two of us.
Yeah, I ramble a lot.
They were good. I watched them. They were good.
See?
Yeah.
The rambling
I've made so many of
jewels
them. I'm not even
wisdom.
sure which ones they put up there, but
They're jewels of wisdom. Rambling.
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
all right.
That's awesome. And if you guys do want to volunteer to be a guest, sign up on the methodandmindset.com. We have a page specifically for people who want to have what Cody had today. Thank you, Cody, for being willing to do this. Very grateful to you. I hope it was valuable. Yes?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Leading the witness there a little bit, but I hope it was. All right. So if anybody has any questions about how to sign up for Method and Mindset, go to methodandmindset.com. You'll see at the top, want to volunteer to be coached. Please spread the word. We are going to do these every other week, right, Ricky? We're doing them on Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. And Cody, we're going to give you 3 months free at True Trader. So like, we do, like, we live stream every single morning off the open. I know you're probably at work and it might not work for you as well. But everything that's recorded, like the live streams, are always in the content library and can be rewatched later. There's the content library over there is ridiculous. It's like, I've probably done, whatever's at methodandmindset.com, the free stuff, the 7 hours, probably have like 20 times that of stuff, like different webinars and stuff we've done over there, plus the master course. And you'll have access to like Adriano, Goose, me, Sunil, like all the moderators over there. Drop me a DM if you have any questions about any trades or ideas or problems, whatever it is. Like, you're with us now, and that's for 3 months. And when you get there, like, just get yourself a screen name or whatever, drop me a line, let me know it's you, and we'll work some more together. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
coming
you,
on,
Kim.
Cody. Glad you made this happen.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
Definitely. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we'll see everybody else not next Thursday, but the following Thursday after that. And in the meantime, stay smart, protect your profits. Capital preservation is always what I preach over at our room, is the most important thing. And we'll see you guys around.
Aloha.
Right. Take care.
Peace, guys.
Bye.